in to the DNVR Avalanche podcast. We got AJ, we got Eric, we got Rudo. Avs, they did a turbo dunk. There was some turboing, there was some dunking. There was a win 6-2 over the San Jose Sharks. I've got a 60-second rundown for you to kick it off. Birthday edition. First period, it almost got a little bit dicey there. The Avs almost didn't score on a 5-minute major power play, but they did. And then they scored again. And then they scored again. And then San Jose scored. And then the Avs scored again. And again. And then San Jose scored. And then the Avs scored again.
Damn.
6-2 final. Honestly, though, Nathan MacKinnon, wonderful night, 4-point night for him. He becomes the second place all-time point producer for the Colorado Avalanche tonight. Single-handedly did it. Even with the SEGABABA, the Avs were kind of firing on all cylinders for the important parts of the game. Did they throw it into cruise control in the second period a little bit? Yeah. Did they throw it into cruise control when they were up 5-1 a little bit? Yeah, but they could. They got away with it because they dominated the offensive part of the game when they needed to. And that's how you get yourself an easy win on a SEGABABA.
SEGABABA.
I mean, let's start here with Nathan MacKinnon since he's who I brought up. This is the guy that takes the Avs wherever they need to go, right? When you get a performance like you did out of him tonight.
Where are they going?
To a Stanley Cup?
Oh, okay.
I-25, just straight down.
I guess they're going to Chicago next, right? That's the...
By plane.
Yeah, well. So,
Gross.
let me ask you it this way. And I know the answer is probably no, but is there a world where Nathan MacKinnon gets into awards conversations in this season?
His career has taught us that getting into the conversation is the one thing he can do.
But not win?
It's actually winning them.
Okay.
He's got some, we counted him tonight, 4 top 5 finishes in the Hart.
He does.
He also has a 6th place finish for fun. And a 2nd place finish in the Conn Smythe. So,
Pretty good at not winning them.
Being in the awards conversation, something he's definitely capable of.
Or, if you break it down, yeah, he's had a great year so far, overall, obviously, with the point streaks and the points. But if you take his last, 8-10 games, for me, probably been the best player in the National Hockey League. So, there you go. You keep doing those things like that, then at the end of the day, you'll be in the conversation for what you just asked.
Some kind of
your
awards,
question.
yeah. All right.
He's
Fair
been
enough.
outstanding. He's been like we talked about, he's been absolutely savage.
Yeah. A monster for the Avs over this last handful of games, even in some of the losses. Hard to pin it on Nathan MacKinnon on any given night.
I pinned last night on him.
Why?
Because he's there.
Okay. Sure.
It was him.
If you want to blame him, you go ahead and blame him. Tonight.
Take that, Nathan.
First goal of the game. Walk me through this power play, right? Because they play 4.5 minutes of not very good power play time. And then one great play fixes it, right?
Pretty much, man.
Is that acceptable?
Yep.
Okay.
You'd like for it to be better, but
Of
the
course.
point is to score.
Yeah.
They scored.
And for me, that's to play the game. If they don't score, they scored with 30 seconds to go, just about 5-minute major. You don't score, it's a tough one. It's a momentum killer for you. It's a momentum boost for the Sharks. All of a sudden, yeah, guys, we killed that. Let's go. It's a different game. So that goal changes things around. For me, that's the play of the game. Did I like their first 4.5 minutes? No, I thought they were horse poo-poo. They were awful. It was just not. It's what you show 10-year-olds to say, this is what not to do. You know what I mean? And then their entries, their possession, their position play. It was awful. You know what I mean? But then they're elite players. When they want to and when they can turn it on, they make that play. It's the play of the game for me. Change the game around. They win 3-0 the first period. Game over.
Amen to that. Is it complicated? Is there a complicated solution to Colorado's power play, or is it just eventually your best players will make a play like they did, setting up Val for a tap-in goal, essentially?
Well, and especially with no Cale Makar, you know that, and with Devontae's there, you're not going to have that
extra charge
really
at the top.
dangerous scoring threat from out high. So teams should, in theory, be defending you a little differently. And playing east to west like that and stretching them out, that's a good way to do it. You kind of use Devon Toews as a decoy, and you essentially play 4-on-3 down low with the high forward out there kind of keeping an eye on Devon Toews.
Yep.
So I'm fine. Like, okay. Them getting set up was the part that was hard.
Yep.
Once they did, it wasn't. It
was
neither
fine, yeah.
unit struggled to generate chances. Before that goal, Ryan Johansson had their two best scoring chances or two best plays on that 5-minute power play until that play. So without Makar, the adjustment should be, okay, now you're playing through your guys down low. You're going east-west a little more. Okay. I don't think that's going to be sustainable because it's really hard to make cross-ice passes like that. Like, that's the thing that penalty kills actively seek to take away from you.
You take it if they're given, but they're not given all that often.
And we saw them try and force some. They always try and force some. Guys with that kind of skill have a lot of confidence in that skill. So, and we saw two of them basically, where they just said, "Okay, we've got a guy that's in front. We're going to get that puck to that guy."
Yep.
And they did, and then you're not shooting and beating a goaltender very much right now on the power play.
You are not.
So stop doing it. Find another solution. Get closer to the goalie and create a higher danger kind of chance. Great, it worked.
A chip shot. It worked.
Good solution. You have Val on the back door on one of them. Then you
Mikko
have
on the opposite back door. Yeah.
You have Mikko standing in front with that little chip play that he likes so much. Worked great.
Eric, do Val and Mikko get credit for going to Pizza Hut there, or is that a more they like walked in the back door of the restaurant and got food secretly?
Well, a little bit of both.
Where did that metaphor go?
It's like, yeah, it went well. No, but I know what he's saying. It's a little bit of both, right? They do get there. Mikko does choke the bat right there.
Yeah,
that's
for sure.
right in front of them. That's Pizza Hut. And then Val, as we know, has made a living this year there, right? He's been so good within 2 feet of the blue paint there. He's right there. And those are elite players, meaning like max pass to Mikko. Mikko finds,
Val on the
Val
backside.
in the front, and then on the opposite.
Drouin that found him, but
I'm sorry, yeah. What I'm saying is, Drouin, I mean, he called him Picasso. What'd you call him?
Shakespeare.
So that's the guy that can make plays, right? With the puck and a power play players that are so elite. So
starting to pen a pretty decent sonnet.
He's starting to, it's nicer than a third grade painting. We're getting there. You know what I mean? Like, no, sorry. He's a writer. Sorry, Shakespeare's a writer. Sorry.
He is a writer.
I was saying Picasso. Sorry, I went to painting. I got all confused. I'm French. But anyway, they got 2 goals there on the power play. That's huge. Did we get pissy with it sometimes? Yes. I was getting pissy with that power play.
The
That's
first
why,
one, yeah. Understandably.
Remember, I was just saying in the watch along, like, oh my God, they don't score here in those next 30 seconds. That's a killer.
It was a huge problem.
It's a huge problem. And then next thing you know, they score. Oh, it turns the game around. So again, frustrating because they are frustrating, but productive as they scored 2 tonight. And that's a big difference between the two teams.
And you're talking the first, certainly that top unit on that 5-minute power play.
Yeah.
What was frustrating about the goal leading up to it is that they weren't making the simple play.
Yep.
MacKinnon gets the puck stripped from him on an entry, or he gives it away on an entry that he gets cleanly.
Could have just held it. Yeah.
And then instead of carrying the puck with him along the wall, he drops it back to the guy behind him. There's a defender right there. There's nobody in front of him, and you're just like, God, dude. Like, you're making this too hard on yourself a little bit. Keep it simple. Keep it, take what's being given to you. And when you see they get it set up, the Sharks give away plenty. They're awful.
Yep.
It turns out that the one full day of rest that they had in Denver last night did not make them better. They took what was given to them, and they dominated.
But going back to the power play, I'll compare those guys to artists. Sometimes they can be misunderstood, if that's the word. You know what I mean? They're so creative, they're so artistic. You hear that all the time. So those elite players, the Macks of the world, and they're artists. You know what I mean? They're just not lunch pail guy. Like Miles Wood's a lunch pail guy. Yeah. Right? Mikko, Nate, they're artists. They're special, right? They have a special talent that most people don't have, So at times it can be frustrating, you know what I mean? So, like I said, misunderstood, is that the word? Maybe, I don't know. But I'm just, I think that's what I'm trying to compare.
Also, when you talk about their artists, the obsession with whatever their version of accountability is, whatever you want to, exactly. You hold them to a different standard, you give them more leeway because they give you more.
Yeah.
That's right.
When they are making their art, in this case.
I love it.
So, just like as the conversation has been this 4-4-2 stretch, when are they going to do something about MacKinnon, or take the A from him, or
what?
you need to bench Mikko, or whatever these solutions have been suggested for holding those guys accountable and sending whatever message.
No.
This tonight is the night. This is why you live with those things and you don't do silly stuff and overreact to one game or even a stretch of games where you're like, yeah, this is frustrating. But again, you have 6 years of information here that say these two guys are unreal.
Yeah. You give an artist a paintbrush that might be a little bit harder to use. Sometimes they make mistakes. Sometimes you got to get a new canvas. That's Nathan MacKinnon and Mikko Rantanen sometimes. Yep. With someone who doesn't have that ability, you give Logan O'Connor the finger paint.
That's true.
You can't mess it up, but you can still make some quality out of it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Just look at the paintings you saw on the Avs broadcast tonight. All right? Some of those were pretty darn good. Not going to lie.
I wouldn't even venture to say all of them are better than anything I would be capable of.
Same. So you just have to understand, obviously you would love for MacKinnon and Rantanen to play perfect, but you live with some of the downsides because of some of the upside that comes with that. Mm-hmm. You can get mad at an errant pass, but you let them do that because sometimes they actually execute and make that pass effectively.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Unlike a less skilled player who you don't live with that pass because he'll never succeed at it. It's just kind of the reality of those types of players. Obviously, it worked well enough tonight, and the Avs rammed it home on San Jose plenty throughout the game. And this is where I think you start talking about an interesting night because, yes, did MacKinnon play great? Did he have a 4-point night? Was he awesome? Totally. But you also got scoring from kind of everywhere tonight when you look up and down the lineup.
6-2 game, and I think all but 3 or 4
had
forwards.
A point.
Get points for you. It's like
LOC didn't get a point, but he still played great. Could have easily got a point.
But I mean, you look. Drouin had a 2-point night. You get points from Mikko and Nichushkin. You get points from Cogliano. Miles Wood scores a goal. Ross Colton gets an assist. Caleb Jones has an assist on the defensive side. I think Taves had an assist as well.
Yeah.
Yep. On nights like you're getting it from everywhere,
you're not going to lose much, man.
Yeah, hard to nitpick a night like that, right?
Yeah. Your stars showed up and turbo dunked on these guys, but then also your lineup is good.
Yep.
Ryan Johansson scores a goal for you. Miles Wood scores a goal for you.
Yep.
And what I loved about the Drouin 2 assist night, they're not cheap.
Certainly the first one was great.
That was a nice pass.
So, yeah, it's a great pass.
Yep.
The second one is him.
Gets it through the neutral zone for him.
He wins a battle along the wall in the neutral zone. Like the exact thing that people have been talking about.
That's the one we were talking about.
He can't make that play. Oh, this is the thing. He can only do the first assist, the power play assist. No. You look at him, he's now 11 points his last 19 games.
We'll go back on that play. That's the one I thought we were talking about, that one. Colton, he doesn't score because it's Woody that scores, but
Colton makes a great
turns
play
around,
too,
then he looks at Drouin, he's like this, he's telling him, like, that was the point in the neutral zone, that was the play.
He's the guy
if
who
the play's
starts
not
it.
made, the goal doesn't happen, right?
Ross Colton makes a real nice play on that goal too.
They both do a nice goal, and then Woody makes a great shot.
Yeah, all three guys. You're looking at him and you're like,
awesome.
Cool, man.
Big goal.
Since we're in this room, let me ask you about this. Drouin, Colton, Wood play as the second line tonight. I think there's probably some limitations on Wood playing that high in the lineup.
I mean, look at this.
But you look at that play from Drouin and Colton, and does it make you go, Could this work?
Yeah, I mean, I would do it for now. Do it for the next couple of weeks. Keep it together, man.
Why not?
At least get to the do it in Chicago.
Sure.
Looking at ice time.
It's fine, man.
If Colton keeps making plays like that and Drouin keeps setting them up, I mean,
I think both Colton and Drouin, certainly since the adjustment period of their first 10 games,
sure,
are right in that 40-point pace for the season.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you just conveniently chop off
They're bad
the
parts,
first 10 games.
I hear you.
But since then, you're
They've been
talking
the players you wanted them to be.
Exactly. And Miles Wood has been exactly the same guy that he has been for the last 7 years in New Jersey.
Yep.
It's just who he is. Do you want him as a second line guy? No. Do you honestly want Ross Colton as a second line guy? Probably also no.
Yeah.
But that's a line that, hey, give him more burn.
I mean, on a SEGABABA, though, you're looking at Kiva Ranta is 7 seconds under 10 minutes, and Dermy is 40, 50 seconds under. So you couldn't ask for a better spread of ice time tonight.
Yep.
The play of the game kind of dictated the ice time, you know what I mean, with the scoreboard. But everything, everybody played. If I'm looking at it right now, Tays played 23, whatever, on D, which is a lot. We knew that with Bo. But up top there, Mikko's under 23, and Nate's under, he's at 21, so it's not. Val almost played 24 minutes. That's a lot, but other than that, Cogs is at 11:52, Johansson 12:36. I like the spread of the
It's a
ice
solid
time
split.
tonight.
And being ahead as far as they were made it a lot easier. You didn't have to make choices there, right? You're just
you're just
roll
rolling,
them.
you're going. I like it.
Yep.
Obviously, on a SEGABABA, that's important, and that's when you take a 3-0 lead. That's what happens.
Well, that's the deal. Way too many nights the Avs have made their lives harder than it had to be.
Yeah.
Tonight, they made their life easy. There wasn't any nonsense. There wasn't anything where the Avs are making brain-dead decisions that are making this game harder for themselves. Do they give up a couple of goals? Sure. Do you love them? No. But the Avs are always in complete control of this game.
But it was almost nonsense with that 5-minute power play.
But it wasn't.
Yeah.
That's my point. Yeah, it was awesome. That's
Well,
what I mean.
and you also had when you're, I think it was 5-2, and Georgiev makes the nice glove save on the cross on the would have made it. I think it would have made it 5-3, and you're not panicking at that point. Still 5-3,
But you don't love it.
Yeah, but you're talking about come on, this is not what you're after.
Yep.
But what else?
But your goaltender makes the save. Your goaltender gives you that chance. He's plenty good enough to win this game for you. He has a good night. Neither one of those goals you're not even talking to Alexander Georgiev about those goals. Nope. You're not looking at him on video and saying a damn word to him.
Yep.
You're looking at him and you're
nothing
going,
he can do on either.
You're talking about the second goal. You're looking at Bo Byram going, what the
Yep.
And the first goal, you're just like, boys, come on, whatever.
If they run that play and get that tip, they good play.
Yeah.
Whatever.
There's also, I'm using your phrase, the double agent. There was Johnson and Jost last game, right?
Jacob McDonald
Buffalo.
gives them the
Tonight,
5-minute
that's
power play.
Jacob McDonald, double agent, gives them the 5-minute major. So, it
did
slides right in there.
Yep.
Makes
Yeah.
a difference.
It's about who you know.
But to get back to Georgiev, though, here's what I liked. He ends up having a solid night, like you talked about. What's more important for me is, personally, he gets out of Chateau Bow Wow, right? You know what I mean? Like the doghouse. He's kind of, now you're like, okay.
Yep.
Now you go back and, you go to Chicago and then you have a big night and, he should run the table. He should be playing every game this week, right? And then you feel good about your game. You feel good about yourself. Of course, you play one game at a time. That's not what I'm saying. But he gets out of it. You know what I mean? He gets out of the funk that he's in. And now if he wins the next game and he does it under the same fashion, then all of a sudden you're like, okay, I'm back. You know what I mean? Where tonight is the start of something. You go back to the next one and you have another solid. Then you're just like, okay, I'm out of it now. You know what I mean?
Look,
and then you go on a run.
He gets to feel good tonight. The stats look good tonight.
That's right.
Everything points towards good for Georgiev. And if you want to feel good, maybe you hit up Stadium Swim with Circa Resorts and Casinos out in Vegas. You can go have a great time out there. When you stay with Circa, make sure you use code DNVR at circasports.com to get 20% off your stay in Vegas with Circa. They have the world's largest sports book. They have a giant casino that's 7,000 square feet. Already mentioned Stadium Swim. And they have over 500 rooms that'll fit whatever layout you need. Whatever your reason for heading to Vegas. Maybe it's the Broncos-Raiders game. Maybe it's the Avs versus Knights. Maybe it's something else entirely. Circa is the place to stay. And you can also download the Circa Sports app at circasports.com. Of course, bets can only be made while physically located in Colorado. You must be 21 or older. All rights reserved. Circa Sports Colorado encourages you to gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call or text 1-800-GAMBLER or visit problemgamblingcolorado.org. Also brought to you by the fantastic Snarfs. Didn't have it tonight, but we had it yesterday. Delicious stuff. You cannot go wrong with a Snarfs sandwich. They are A1 sandwiches. Get yourself over to Snarfs. Enjoy yourself some delicious food. I had the Reuben the last time. Mwah. To die for. Could eat it all day, every day. Go check out Snarfs if you haven't had the chance to get over there. Get their fresh ingredients. Get it all. It's absolutely delicious stuff. And they have 26 locations in Colorado. I didn't realize it was that many. Yeah. They're all over the place. So if you're in Colorado, you can get yourself some Snarfs.
Tell you what I'm doing when I'm headed out of town on Friday.
Swinging by a Snarfs.
You know what you should do? Double or triple Snarf. Put in the cooler right next to you.
Backup Snarfs?
There's way better than...
Too much Texas fast food that I don't get here.
Shoot, that's right.
That I want to get into while I'm down there.
All right.
The second I get close to a Buc-ee's.
Yeah.
There goes all of my Christmas budget. It's gone.
Selling it all.
I'm spending on myself at Buc-ee's.
Yep.
But it's starting with Snarfs.
There you go.
Hey.
You got to get at least one Snarfs in there. Get your Snarfs today. Oh, check out a Snarf burger if burgers are more your thing. Second period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast. It's just a solid game all the way around from Colorado. Look, we talked before the game. You really wanted to see the Avs come out and win this one, especially after the play against Winnipeg. Yeah. Yes, the Sharks are bad. Do they get credit for this being a SEGABABA and still showing out, or should this just be the expectation?
I hate to do it to you.
Yeah, both it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, it is the expectation. We all talked in preseason. There are no excuses in this. You go and win this hockey game.
Yep.
And to win it in the fashion that they did, I said in the pregame, they owed the Sharks a beating and they gave it to them.
They did.
There were moments that it could have gone. It could have been a more competitive game had other things happened, but it didn't.
Yeah.
The Avs executed. San Jose didn't. They took care of business. Did they lose the legs a little bit in the third period? Imagine that. They sure did.
To be expected.
They sure did. And they still outscored San Jose in the period.
They did.
So, it is the expectation. Like, it really is. You want to hold yourself to that standard. Hey,
Yeah.
we had an embarrassing performance in a game that we really wanted to be more competitive in last night.
Yep.
It's not their fault San Jose was the team on the schedule. You can only play the game that you're in, something we talk about all the time. They needed to put it on San Jose, and they did. And so I think it's a great bounce back. They get credit for it. Mm-hmm. Had they lost this game, we'd be lambasting them. So
totally.
You're not like, oh my God, this is the case for why this team is fine and they have no problems and everybody is good and blah 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 blah. That obviously not, but they beat that ass tonight. I mean, they just did.
Yep.
And so yes, you give them credit. It's an NHL game.
Okay.
The Sharks, we talked coming into this, they had started 0-10-1 to start the season, and they were 9-8-2, I think. After that start,
Yep, just barely over 5. I've 9-8-3, 9-2.
They suck, but they've also beaten some teams recently.
Sure,
it's an NHL team.
Any given night,
yeah, they beat that ass. You go looking for something to be mad about tonight. It's because you want to be mad.
For sure.
There's not one single area of this game that I'm going to let people nitpick. I don't give a shit about power play goals against. You look how they happen, and it's like, give me a break.
Yep.
Look at the game situations in which those goals happen. Seriously? Especially for the unit that has been consistently your best unit from the start of the year to today. That is the most consistent unit that you have had. It is the one that you feel the absolute best about.
And a unit that's pretty short-handed at the moment.
Yeah,
as
a unit
well.
that has been very in flux with its
no Gerard,
with its
no
personnel.
McCarr, no
Yeah,
MacKinnon.
You are playing, especially defensively. You are playing guys on your blue line that you would not be playing in that situation otherwise. There is nothing about this game that you should legitimately be bothered by. Not one single thing.
Yep.
And if you are, sports may not be for you. You have got to find something to be joyful about at some point. And a 6-2 win should be it.
If you can't be joyful about that,
Yeah.
I guess my question would be, what are you getting out of this?
And I'm not planning a parade. I'm not saying, oh man, they've turned it around, everything is fixed. No, dude.
A good win's a good win, though.
San Jose sucks. You needed to lay it on a team, and you did.
Hold on, but Tomas, I'll say it right. Tomas Hertel. He's a world-class player.
Yeah.
Last I checked,
He's good,
scores
man.
2 tonight. He's a good player.
He's
He
good.
makes $9 million, whatever he is, $9 million a year. I mean, this guy's an elite player that represents his country. He's good. He scores 2 goals. All right. One of them is one of the sickest tips you'll ever see, like you just talked about. Changes complete direction, goes the other way.
Yeah.
That shot's probably going wide. Right?
Tell me what you want done differently on the penalty kill that stops that goal.
Penalty killing is about habits. It's about, it's not just always about numbers, right? You know what I mean? You have to go, and if you do the right things, it equals out after a while. Like on your power play, on your PK. So, yeah, there's nothing to be mad about. Rudo, I'm going to give him credit because this is his birthday. He turned 24.
It's true. I
He's
wish.
awesome.
Definitely.
Rudo said it before the game, and it's a term that's being thrown around sometimes, so stupid, like a must-win. We're not that dumb, but it was a must-win. I don't care what people say. You'll lose that game. You've lost the game before to Winnipeg. All of a sudden, you're erasing the 2 games that Bednar called the other day. Probably 2 of the best games they played.
Yep.
All year,
And
you know what I mean? Like
you'll lay
again,
a
maybe not
friggin'
the
egg.
whole game. But I'm just saying, like in spurts, like they were dominant.
totally.
They were back to their personality, right? To what they are.
Yeah.
And like tonight, their personality is what they strike quick. They strike 2-3 goals. Next thing I was like, oh, it's overwhelming for teams. So I like
in the first period, and the game is still competitive. You allow 5 shots on goal.
That's we talk about this all the time. I
Even
mean,
after
like,
the second, it was like 15 shots against.
they're a good
It's like-
team. And of course, the other team's going to quit, which I like. So Georgiev
good,
got
dude.
some shots, right? Georgiev got him, like we talked about it, got himself a chance to get out of Chateau Bow Wow. And then all of a sudden, it's a great team effort. It's a solid game. Now, what are you looking at on the positive side of things? You've won 3 out of 4.
Yep.
You're going against opponents that you should beat. Again, you can only, play the game that's on the schedule, but it's the National Hockey League. Like we know, anyone can beat anybody on any given night, but you feel good about yourself. Your top guys are gone. Your goalie's out of the freaking doghouse. You know what I mean? Your power play scoring, is it perfect? No. There's a lot to look. And on top of it, you're missing a bunch of guys, and some guys are, Malinsky. Last few games, right? We're learning more about Sam Malinsky.
Yeah.
Tonight he gets killed, he gets stitches, whatever it is that he does, comes back, still plays good. He's learning the vigorous, if that's a word, because I'm French, way of the National Hockey
that's a
League,
good
which
word.
is tough, and you get on a plane and you go play in a game. This guy played in college hockey. It's different. The weekend league.
Yep.
Right, Friday, Saturday.
Yep.
Great, awesome.
You play 35
You
games
play
a year.
35. This is hard. It's tough.
The Avs just played their 31st
Yeah.
game
But the
this
kid
season.
is taking it.
Yep.
Think about it. He was with us in Vegas. Came on the show with us.
Yep.
A rookie camp. Awesome. Nice kid. I mean, just awesome.
Well, kid that gets it.
And gets it. And then he goes, okay, my deal is, okay, in the next 5 days I'm in Vegas. I come back, it's the next 2 weeks I'm in camp. Hopefully I do a good impression. Oop, you get sent down to Loveland, right? Okay, I got to figure that out of my life. I got to go sign a lease on an apartment or whatever it is. Oh, now I'm back in the NHL. Oh, now I'm back on a plane tomorrow. I'm going over there. And then my eyes going to swell up tomorrow on the plane. It's fine. It's awesome. So we're learning a lot about guys like that. We're learning a lot about what these guys have in the tank. Caleb Jones, has a tough night in Winnipeg. Played better tonight. I like that.
We said on the pregame, after the Winnipeg game, you needed every single Av to play better. And every single one did.
That's
Yeah.
it. They're listening to the show. It was Rudo's birthday. They know that. And then they put
It was
in
just
effort.
good hockey.
That's it.
Yeah,
It was
that's
just
why.
good hockey.
That's why MacKinnon was so awesome tonight. He didn't like Rudo getting the spotlight for it being his
True.
birthday.
He needed to take it.
He had to
for
upstage him.
himself. The one true Nathan.
No, you are the one true Nathan.
I'm not.
He's
I'll,
Mack.
I'll be Rudo.
You're Rudo.
Yeah, neither
There's
of us
no
can be
Nathan.
Nathan. It's all good. Chat, you did get us to 100 likes, so thank you for that. We've got our Vitamin W winner's shots here.
Dubs.
We appreciate y'all. Let's enjoy the Vitamin W.
Before we do our shots, can I just say, I'm not about to sing.
We're not doing
Are you
I
going
am-
to do the Marilyn Monroe?
I am not singing to Rudo.
To Rudo?
But I do want to wish my partner in crime here a happy birthday. He is a dude that I've been at this with for a long time, and one of my favorite people in the world. And there isn't anybody in the world that I would rather be doing this with. He is behind the scenes, incredibly hardworking and dedicated. It's his birthday, and he's here. So, and all the rest of us would I take my birthday off every year. It helps that it's in August and it's not a game day.
It just happens to be in December.
But also, like, this is a dude that he works very hard. He's very dedicated to this, and he is one of the best humans on the planet. So he deserves all of the celebration that we give to him today. I know he hates this, so I'll wrap it up. But I do want to say happy birthday to him. Genuinely, the 100 likes and the watch along 100 likes and shots. Great, but this is my guy right here. This is my guy.
right back at you, bud.
Please keep your shirt on.
Give me another one.
What? Oh, we chinking again? All right.
Please keep your shirt on.
That shirt's staying on.
No, thank you.
Enough of that stuff.
None of that nonsense.
As always, our Vitamin W shots are brought to you by Breckenridge Distillery. You can get their award-winning whiskey at BreckenridgeDistillery.com. Ships to all 50 states. You can order online, or if you're local, go check out the distillery itself. They have an amazing restaurant. All sorts of cool stuff from Breck Distillery. Getting back to the Avs hockey game, as Eric needs a drink or something. No, he's getting
walking
a
onto the
whiskey.
set of the Broncos and he's leaving ours.
He's just abandoning
Eric
us.
is unhinged.
He's off the chain.
Sponsors.
He did go get the whiskey.
Thank you.
Show it off.
I
a
saw it
little
on my
bit.
right eye. I see everything on the ice. My peripheral vision. SAT word, peripheral.
You look at Colorado tonight, and I think it's just hard to be upset with the team that you see. So my question is,
Yeah.
how do they continue to be this team?
Can
How
they
do
keep playing the Sharks?
Well, yeah, that would help. But that's kind of my point. How do they avoid the reputation of, oh, they only beat the bad teams?
Well, you keep beating them,
That does help.
because if they lose on Tuesday to Chicago, it'll be they didn't take it seriously. They played down to their opponent. They didn't respect the game. They didn't respect the other team. Blah, 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 blah. And today it's they can only beat the bad teams, right?
One of those reps is better than the other, at least.
Yeah, so just keep beating them, and then, you are going to lose games to good teams. Hell, you're going to lose games to some bad teams along the way. That's part of the gig.
Yep.
Well,
So, but the big thing here is just keep winning games. You want to be that team every night. You stay committed to the process. You play who you are. You have some roster deficiencies. You have some problems with your roster. You have some injuries right now. Some guys who are out. It's the NHL. Everybody does. Welcome to the league. You've got to keep finding ways.
well, I mean, you only beat bad teams. A year and a half ago, they won the Stanley Cup, so they must have beaten some good teams, right? Last year, they finished first in the division. They must have beaten some good teams. And right now, they're the top of their division.
They are.
Somewhere, somehow,
They're
they've
back
beaten
at the
some
top.
good teams. So, I mean, I get it. There's always something to nitpick. At the end of the day, they've had a very good season so far. Is there a lot to improve on? Absolutely. Is there a roster deficiency? Absolutely. And that's why those guys, C-Mac, Joe, pro scouting, right, has nothing to do with amateur scouting, right, because these guys are doing their dirty work but they work every day to try to fix that thing and to prevent slides and, streaking on the other way where, look at the San Jose Sharks. They had that streak where they couldn't win a game. And that's how it creeps into you. And then it's again, a lot of times it has to do with your roster or lack of leadership or, expectations. And once it goes out of control, it's tough to get back. Credit to San Jose Sharks. They got it back after that, and then obviously they've been respectable since, right? But The Avalanche, that's why when you lose a game, it's so important that you stop it.
Yeah.
Good teams stop it right away. And that's why we read from our good buddy Brendan McNicholas, right? Was it last month we were looking at their 10-game segments? Like they haven't had like a losing month in like a few years now.
Yeah, it's like 34 straight months.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
You know, when you think about it, that's consistency. Is it perfect? No.
Right.
Like the last month or whatever, 10-game segment, give and take.
They're
Call it a
still
month.
500.
They're still 500. It wasn't that they went 2-8.
And
You know what I mean? You got to avoid those things.
Exact. If 4-4-2 is your worst month,
Awesome.
you're a good hockey
You'll
team.
be fine because you're going to go.
Statistically speaking, 4-4-2 is 500.
Exactly.
Because you have 10 of 20 points.
Yep.
That's it.
In that stretch. If you're going to lose games, do it in overtime. The Islanders have mastered this art already this year. The Stars have been the kings of this over the last couple of years.
Yep.
So, it's just do that instead.
Well, those guys, the way they're built, right, this team, and it should be like that for the next few years with the core they have, and it's been like that the last few years. You're going to get, like we saw the first 10 segments, 7-3, 7-3. Then you're going to see maybe one or two like that, 500 one, and then you're going to see one 10-0. You're going to see another one 9-1. So it's going to be like that. We'll look at it, play that clip at the end of the year. We'll see this team's so predictable because they're so good. They're really good. This is a well-assembled team.
Yeah.
And this is a good team. Upper echelon team.
All right.
It is crazy that you talk about how, like, we focus so much on the deficiencies of the club.
For sure.
And we talk about, well,
Very
this
normal.
is what needs to get better.
Because we
and this
put
is
it
what
under
you're
a
worried.
microscope every single day.
Exactly. We drill down into the very minute details of it. So at times, I think it comes across as overly negative. But all three of us feel like this is a very, very good hockey team.
Oh, yes.
That's going to be in it. They're going to be right there. After every loss, you always have people who are doing this is another first round exit. And it's just like, just stop. Like, you have no idea.
Yeah, but don't think.
That's exactly what it sounds like after
Yes, yeah.
losses.
Yeah.
Is those guys come rolling into the chat,
And that's
trying to announce what an emergency it is. But with this team, they're going to be there, and you start off your fourth 10-game segment with a win, and a very, very good win. You put 4-4-2 behind you. You start off now. You're 1-0 again. You're 1-0, and you're looking at you're staring down the barrel of that schedule, going, "This should get better."
Yep.
But that panic button is what makes this game so freaking fun. Because it's the wins and the losses and the highs and the lows and the ride that it takes you on is what makes it so fun and spectacular and so special. We live it together. We do. We get pissed off last night. But don't think C-Mac, Joe, and those guys don't either. Or coaches. They do the same thing.
Yeah.
Because you look at a game, your job is to see what happened in that game, and then it's human nature to get down. You know, like, oh, God, this is so stupid, and we're so dumb, and we make this. But then you got to be able to erase it and move on to the next one. That's why this game is so fun. I wouldn't want to be a football guy. You got to wait a full week, and, you know what I mean? Again, it's just so different. You know what I mean? Think about it. Like, Caleb Jones makes that pizza yesterday, right? That's a bad play. You got to be able to move on, right? Goldfish and, like Ted Lasso, whatever it is. But you have a chance the next night to just go do it. He has a better game tonight, gets an assist. Hall is forgotten, right? I'm just saying, you just move on. Mm-hmm. And that's the beauty of our sport, and that's what makes it fun.
Shows you why, in the last 24 hours, we've seen why Caleb Jones has been on 3 teams.
For sure.
In the last, 3 years.
For sure.
Tonight, you see why you consider him to be a valuable
Why he keeps getting NHL jobs.
Exactly, like a depth
He
guy.
can do it, yep.
Are you gonna get that best out of him every night? No, but guy's solid. Guy's solid.
Yep.
And Sam Malinsky, I wanted to add on to your Sam Malinsky point is, the frustration with Sam Malinsky when he has a bad night. This is all in service of him having good nights if you need him, or if you want him to be the guy in your lineup. Come April, come May, come June, while you're on a run. All of this is building towards getting him up to speed, getting him accustomed to it, and getting him trusted and reliable as a player as quickly as possible to be a guy that you care about at the end of the year.
Yep.
If that means that you have some bad nights in November and December and January, man,
It's a good time to have
cool.
him. Yep.
That doesn't mean he's never going to have a bad night in the playoffs, but having a bad night now teaches him how to have a good night on the next one.
Yep.
And that is so much of what professional sports is. It's so much of what our lives are, is when you have a bad day, when you go through a bad stretch, when something bad happens to you, how do you grind through it?
Yep.
How do you be a professional? How do you have the maturity to move through it and still find a way to get to your best more often than not?
Yep.
And Sam Malinsky is learning that on the fly right now, and it's extremely valuable experience. I talked about it on the watch long. We've talked about it a little bit on this pod, on post-game pods. The Arturi Lehkonen injury might end up being a blessing in disguise because it opens up an opportunity for Jonathan Drouin. We talk about opportunity all the time on this show. He has walked through that door. He is showing himself to be a guy that
spot. Yep.
Exactly, a guy that you can count on in a complementary scoring role.
Yep.
And a guy that you're starting to say, okay, we're comfortable continuing to give opportunity to him.
Yep.
Is he a top line guy? No. Doesn't need to be.
Yep.
The Sam Girard absence right now. We hope that whenever he's ready to go, whenever he's, we hope that he comes back whenever he's good and ready, and we hope that's as soon as possible for his own sake. But however long it takes, it's opportunity for Sam Malinsky. And the organization, credit to them, they're giving it to him. They're saying, hey, we could play Caleb Jones and all the NHL experience.
Yep.
But they're saying we want to see what the kid has. And the kid's proving it. He's living up to it. And Caleb Jones has to find his way. What we've seen in the last 24 hours is the up and downs.
And then if you go back to what I was saying earlier, coaching staff and then, see Mack and company, like trying to fix those things that we were talking about every night, any given night, trying to figure out how can you be better? How can you be the last team standing right at the end of June or whatever it is? That's what the business you're in, right? To win the last game. If you don't win the last game, then it's considered a failure. It is, and that's tough. But at the same time, I'll give a shout out to Battaglia there and his staff. Amateur guys are doing their job, but then you got Battaglia and his staff that are looking at college free agents. So you're addressing something a year in advance last year. Okay, what do we have next year? What do we have if we can go get help at free agency and, or the Caleb Jones of the world or whatever it is? Oh, let's try to get this Sam Malinsky guy. And they identify those guys and they go after those guys for free agencies. And because draft picks are not there right now, not ready. So that's kudos to those guys a year in advance to make sure that there is depth right now with Cale Makar not being there, Sam Girard not being there. All of a sudden, that signing is huge today, where a year ago, whatever it is, and whatever he signed at the end of the call, whenever it was over in March last year. It's like, oh, whatever, the Avs signed this guy out of Cornell, great, awesome, which you don't really care about. But when you think about it, those are big pieces of how an organization thinks ahead and gets, depth at the right time.
You're talking about an organization that the cupboards are a little bit thin when it comes to things like draft picks.
That's it.
And they're finding other avenues to get depth pieces in their organization.
Megan and I have talked a lot in the last year about an unconventional approach to prospect development.
Yep.
Because the front office is saying we're using draft picks primarily to go and get NHL players.
Yep.
We know the numbers on second round, even the second round picks, but teams love second round picks.
And we're bad at drafting with them,
Exactly.
so we just give them away.
The only second round pick that the Avs have used on a player in the last several years was one that they acquired because they had to trade a guy before the expansion draft.
Yep.
That was it. Sean Barons was a Devils pick. The pick that they acquired from the Devils in the Ryan Graves deal. That's it. That's the only time they've done it.
half decent.
So like it's and like they've whatever will become of Sean Barons, we'll see. But
Sure.
like,
and they've gotten plenty of value out of the second round picks they've moved.
exactly, and they've gotten value out of a lot of the guys that they've traded for. They've had some, Lars Eller stings. That one doesn't feel good, especially given the prices of similar players last year.
Where you tried, right?
We don't need to relitigate all the things that went down last season that ended up with Lars Eller being a disappointment.
What it is, yeah.
But, I mean, you've got to feel... Sam Malinsky right now, you feel like this approach has once again found you somebody. It got you Logan O'Connor, And everybody has used him as the great example of they can do this. Sam Malinsky looks like they might be another one. I don't know why he was in the press box tonight, but I still have hope that Ben Myers can be a guy that that helps you.
Yeah, absolutely. And one more thing on the Malinsky thing, for example, signing. Kudos to Malinsky and his camp as well. Because sometimes you can say, well, why would I sign with the Avalanche? And those guys are a top echelon team.
You don't think there were other teams that said, hey, you can play on our roster opening night next year?
Absolutely. And that, for me, kudos to his, I don't even know who his agent is, but his representation and his family and himself, to be smart enough to look at the depth and go, okay, maybe I'm suited for that team. Good she is, right? Quick activation.
Yeah.
And awesome. I raise my hat to that because so many times, guys, you go after them and they're like, oh, that team finished 32nd in the standings. I'm just going to sign with them because I have a better shot at making it. No, he figured it out. This guy's 25 years old. We talked about it. Kel McCarr is younger than him. So where can I be a fit? And I think he did his homework, and he did his homework right. And I think that the Avalanche didn't sell him a bill of goods. They sold him exactly what they were going to do, and it's been a happy marriage.
We're getting a little off track here, but the one thing else I would add to that, especially for a defenseman who's a little bit older, a defenseman who's coming out of the college ranks, the Avs are starting to build a track record with some of these guys, especially on the defensive side. You look at a Ryan Graves. I get Devon Taves was already an NHLer, but he was a late bloomer.
Yeah.
They took him in and turned him into a top 20 defenseman in the NHL. Mm-hmm. You're Sam Malinsky. You're 24 coming out of college. You're looking at a team that is taking guys like you and turning them into bona fide NHLers, if not top 4, if not top 2 guys.
Not just those guys, but look at the guys who have gotten jobs once they've left Colorado.
Yep.
Who was in the game for San Jose tonight?
Jacob McDonald's right there, man.
He's playing forward. Kyle Burrows is also in that game.
Yeah, there you go.
Spent a year in Colorado. Who's playing who's playing for the Los Angeles Kings right now? It's Andreas Englund,
yep.
who spent years in Colorado, rehabbing his game and growing and learning and getting better. This organization has been showing results in not just getting some guys. Who played in Calgary last week in Colorado? It was Dennis Gilbert.
Yep.
Another guy who was in this organization. So you continue to have, all right, these guys, because for years, the Avalanche, when they were the last stop for guys in the NHL. They're not anymore. They're now a springboard for these AAA, these quad A type guys to get into Colorado, hone their games, and go get jobs elsewhere.
You even have people like Mason Geertsen getting games in New Jersey a couple years ago.
G-Money.
Yeah.
But again, kudos to what? Aaron Schneekloth, Greg Cronin.
Yep.
But also, you know what? Nolan Pratt. He's done a great job.
Sure.
Pratter's done a great job being Bedsy's right-hand man and dealing with the Ds. And you know what? Sometimes an assistant coach, you don't get a lot of credit. I think he's been masterful with dealing with all the Ds there in the Colorado system.
And how many major injuries has this defense had?
Right.
How many times has Sam Girard, Bowen Byram, Devon Taves, and Cale Makar been healthy at the same time since they got put together? Like
it's seriously
4 years ago.
You can count on one hand.
It's been so rare. So you're talking about the guys they want in their top 4. Almost always one of them is out. A lot of times 2 of them are out.
Yep.
And this defense continues to truck along. Tonight's another good example. 5 shots in the first period.
Pratter love here.
This game was dominant when you take score effects into account.
Exactly. You you take in the score effects and SEGABABA for the Avs and not for the Sharks. The Avs lose the legs a little bit in the third period. They also have a big lead. Both of those combined, it's going to be a good period for the Sharks. They get outscored.
Yep. It's
Love
good
it.
stuff.
God, we are smart.
Eric, you a golfer at all?
Sure.
You got a hole in one?
Can do it all. No, never.
Yeah, me either. AJ's got one. The bum.
I do have one. I do.
Shoot! If you are trying to get your next hole in one, or maybe it's your first, make sure you get the Colorado Golf Passport. Get in on it now. Prices will increase on January 1st. So right now is the time to go get this one. It's Colorado's #1 golf discount program. It's been going for 22 years. You can get more golf. You can get more lessons. You can get more gear. You can get more deals. Up to 60% off golf on a ton of amazing courses, including the Ridge, Common Ground, Keystone, and more. You get a free golf cart included every single time. And there are plenty of other discounts at places like the PGA Superstore, Golf Tech, and other simulator facilities. Get on over to ColoradoAvidGolfer.com/golf passport to get yours today. Again, for everything golf news, stories, travel, and otherwise, follow Colorado Avid Golfer on all of the socials, and head over to ColoradoAvidGolfer.com and use code DNVR10. You'll save even more money. So jump on it, get your golf passport, get yourself golfing for the upcoming season. And then, if you live on a golf course, you've probably had a couple golf balls hit your roof, things like that. Red Hawk Roofing can fix that for you. They can also fix any other damage, whether it's hail or snow or you got a leak, whatever it is. Red Hawk has you covered. And Red Hawk Roofing will give you a free inspection. They'll go up on your roof. They'll take pictures. They'll tell you everything going on up there. If anything's wrong, they'll let you know. Totally free. You don't have to commit to anything. If you do have problems and you need to get it fixed, they got you covered for that too. They're available 24/7. They do emergency calls, so if something crazy happens, they can come out and get your roof fixed ASAP. Get on over to redhawkroofing.com today. Support a Colorado business. Get it going with Red Hawk Roofing. Third period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast. We've gone off the rails a little bit here. To bring it back in, this is the Colorado Avalanche you want. The Avs have proven time and time again they are capable of being a good, if not great, hockey team. It's about them finding it a bit more consistently than I think they have this season.
That's 100% it, man.
Yep.
So,
And like when you get a 4-point night out of Nathan MacKinnon, you're gonna win.
yeah, you better win. I'll tell you that.
I'd be curious to look up the number of games in which he's had 3 or more points and the Avs have lost, because I bet it's not many.
Yeah,
But their record pretty good in those games.
I would hope so.
I also, oh my god,
Every time.
but also like, yeah, you know Ryan Johansson gets a garbage time goal, but he scores a goal.
Yep.
Like, and he makes 2 of your best plays on that 5-minute power play early on in the game. You get a goal you get another goal out of that Colton and Wood combination.
Yep.
This time it's Drouin as the third guy. Honestly, that running mate hasn't mattered much.
It really hasn't.
Tomas Tatar didn't work very well there. Well, he didn't work very well anywhere in Colorado.
Yep.
He's not here anymore. Jonathan Drouin has now, obviously it's only one game, but Jonathan Drouin has had some moments elsewhere.
Yep.
And so we talked about his production, his numbers, and all that. But you have found a combination, certainly in Colton and Wood, and I think LOC will be the long-term fit there when they're healthier and when guys get blah blah blah. That'll probably be their go-to. But you like the consistency from those guys, and then you have your top line, which is giving you more good nights than bad. The bad ones are obviously very frustrating, but yeah, you're still having a conversation about your second line. Oh, your second line. I think it's now 5 games in a row that you have a point from one of the guys that was on that second line.
Yep.
Counting the Tatar goal in Calgary against Calgary when he was still here.
Yep.
And are they getting points as a line? Are they playing well together? No, not particularly. What even is the second line anymore? But you're still getting production. You're talking about all of the combination of Johansson, Drouin, and Tatar has given you points. Those 3 guys has given you points in 5 straight games.
And tonight, Colton, point. Wood, point. Drouin, 2 points. Ryjo, point. Whoever you feel like are the second liners out of those 4, they all gave you points tonight.
Yeah.
And I think with the Colton Wood combination specifically, Jared Bednar has found a safety blanket.
Yeah,
100%.
He went into this season without a
100%.
JT Compher, without some of those guys that he's always loved to fall back on.
Yeah, and tonight, his other safety blanket has long been Logan O'Connor. When I need something... So what does it say about how he's starting to feel about Jonathan Drouin that he puts
Separates
that guy,
LOC, yeah.
Well, and that he puts that guy with the 2 guys that he trusts as much as he does already?
Yep.
It means Jonathan Drouin is working his way up into the coach's eyes. He's getting there. 11 points in 19 games. 19 games.
Yep.
It's a quarter of a season in the NHL.
Yep.
Now you're starting to talk about like, okay, this is starting to happen here.
A little bit of that consistency on the production side.
I love it because you're right. JT Compher was a security blanket.
Yep.
For all the reasons. And JT did the job, right? I mean, he did. He was He was trusted by Bednar
Absolutely.
and the coaching staff. So now you're finding that with Colton and Wood to a certain extent as well, right?
Yep.
And obviously it's always been there with Logan and obviously the last few years, but it's fun that those guys have taken 20 games or so, or you know what I mean, like to really get the trust factor, and those guys are going to play well in the playoffs because they can elevate their game, they can elevate up a notch. I'm talking about like energy wise,
Yes,
right?
they got the
you know
jump.
what I mean? They
Yeah.
got the jump. They can
Yeah.
do it. They're excited. They're pumped. So it's fun to see. And then you add that tonight to all of a sudden Nathan MacKinnon, second leading scorer in the National Hockey League. That's pretty good.
Not bad.
You know what I mean? For
Not
a guy
bad.
that again, I'm harsh on, and sometimes we need more. Second leading scorer. And then our friend Luke there with the Avs, he just, posted out there that this is in franchise history, Avalanche and Nordiques
Yeah.
combined. This is the first time that a goaltender, and you've had Patrick Roy here and Varley and those guys, in a calendar year puts up 40 wins. Georgiev. That's a pretty cool stat. You know what I mean? Like, as much as we want more from him, and he hasn't been. So there's another level there, and then we're so accustomed to. But he's put up 40 wins. So that means I'm not putting the medal on him. I'm saying he's done well, but this team is goddamn good.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say. You know what I
When
mean?
they
Like,
want to be.
When they want to be, they're good.
I don't even know if when they want. I wouldn't say that.
That's harsh for sure.
But you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
I mean they're just.
Oof, bad hat.
We've seen. Is Calgary like a great NHL team? No, but we've seen that when they play like a B game,
Yep.
they can still beat most NHL
Good
teams.
teams. Yeah.
They can still beat most of them. And are you gonna go and beat Vegas with your B game? Not often.
Unless Vegas plays their C game.
But if they give you their B game,
Yeah.
Yeah.
they're probably not beating you either.
Exactly. So.
I agree.
And that's if the Avalanche especially start to get quality goaltending, that 10-game run that Eric keeps talking about,
It's coming.
It's happening.
It's going to happen.
Yep.
It's happening.
I don't know about a 10-0, but certainly an 8-2, 9-1 look.
Oh, 10-0.
It's on its way. Like, you're going to see something like that, and
It's coming.
they're just very, very good.
Yep. It's coming.
We have a couple super chats to get to here. $5 from another Nathan who says, meant to type a message in my super chat. LOL. Anyways, happy birthday, Rudo. Thank you very much from one Nathan to another. And then $2 from Sasha who says, happy birthday, Rudo. And the Avs won. Thumbs up. The Avs wins the big one. That's the better one. Always a good time to watch the Avs on my birthday.
Do you know their record on your birthday?
I don't.
No? All right.
I have no clue. I couldn't tell you. I actually, in recent history, I actually don't think it's very good. But going back far enough, it might be great as far as I know.
Somebody should go look up the Avs record on December 17th real quick.
Someone else can do that. I'm good. I don't need to know. Any other final thoughts from you guys before we get out of here for this one?
It's a great win, man.
Love it.
Not going to overstate it. It's great, but it's a great win.
Yep.
And on the heels of last night, it makes you feel a little bit better.
There you go. You can put on the Shady Rays tonight for the bright future instead of the hiding the hangover. You can get your Shady Rays at shadyrays.com. Use code DNVR to get 50% off your purchase of 2 pairs of sunglasses or more. Over 250,000 people have given them 5 stars. So go check them out for yourself. And they also have a great returns deal if you haven't seen it. And then, I don't know, who gets, I guess, if Curtis McDermott, if you try to jump Curtis McDermott and he just swallows you whole. Yeah, it's true. McDermott got jumped, so he should call Bacchus and Shanker at 222-2222 today. Any situation where you've been injured and you're not at fault, whether it's a car accident or something happened at work or otherwise, coloradolaw.net or the 2 number. Bacchus and Shanker give you a free consultation, and if you have a case, you pay them nothing up front. They don't get paid until you get paid. So get with them, get what you deserve, get with Bacchus and Shanker. Bacchus and Shanker wins. That's all we got for today. We appreciate all y'all hanging out on the watch along and this post game show. We are back Monday for an off day show. Should be an interesting one. We'll see. Maybe we'll do a little bit of roster baiting. Maybe otherwise.
We're on all week except for Friday.
Yep, Friday's the day off. So you're gonna get some off day shows for the first time in a while. We've had like one off day show in the last 3 weeks. So finally, a couple of those for you. We appreciate you all. I'm out of here for the night. I'm gonna go enjoy the last 2 hours of my birthday. I hope these two enjoy the rest of their night, and all of you too. We will talk to you tomorrow.
We all silly like the mayor.